when I get a new pen, or I go through a little phase where I, for example, fill up 451 pens, I dive right in. And among the things I sort of do is, we'll call them, create sort of monogrammic doodlements. So here I'm taking a P. Can I say that on TV? I'm taking a P and I'm running with it. And I'm using the upside down part of the 51. And I'm just sort of building, not entirely fully planned in my, what some people might call my little head, but I'm just sort of doing a little riff on the shape of the P. And is this doodling? What is this? What would you call this? Yeah, that's a good question, good answer. Wasting my time, he said in the back row. Yep. And you're watching me do this, and is that wasting your time, or are you writing a thesis for grad school saying how YouTube has turned people into crazy time wasters? I'm adding some dots. You know, this isn't quite the Bob Ross approach to landscape painting, where you just add pretty things here and there with your fan brush and your fancy paint or whatever it is. I really don't like Bob Ross. There's nothing wrong with him. I'm sure he's dead now, but he was probably a nice guy that I could borrow a cup of sugar from. I'm sure that he only loaned sugar out by the pint. Pierre, you need your life more sweet. He was just a little too sweet, a little too nice, a little too whatever. And the way that he taught people to paint was just a little too simple. Now, how different is from what he's doing is what I'm doing right now. I'm making a pretty P, taking a P, and I'm turning it into a, Gothic, Gothic in the sense of Victorian Gothic. It's like where they had a perfectly good piece of furniture and then they added something, and that wasn't enough, so they added 10 more things. So here's a P. Now, it doesn't have to be a P, it could be just a non-letter. It could be just a doodle without a thing, or it could be a P, or it could be maybe 2 letters. It's sort of up to my mood, and perhaps, this is what I'm thinking, this is my thought, perhaps maybe what you want. Let's say your name was Polly, or Paul, or Peter, and you said, oh my God, Pierre, that is the most beautiful P I've ever seen in my life. May I buy that? And I'll say, absolutely. I've done dozens of these, hundreds of these in the past few years, where I sit on the couch and I try a new pen, new to me, and I put it through its paces, and I just have a lot of fun. And my 3/4 roommate comes in and says, are you okay? And I'll say, I just made a P. And he'll say, okay. Are you okay? He'll repeat. So anyway, this, add to shopping cart, $1 million. But wait, it's not $1 million. It might be $10. I'm not going to include the frame because then it's going to be $50 because I have to wait in line and send the, wait in line for the money orders to go to Brazil and the other customers to complain about their service. I finally got the fruitcake my aunt sent me 3 years ago. What happened to that? But look how nicely it can look framed. Yeah, the shadow is sort of getting in the way, but pretend. Can I make it so the shadow doesn't get in the way? How do I do that? Turn on a different light. Well, you can see what it would look like framed. And this is a 3 by 4 inch frame or something, which is kind of a standard size, but I probably would make these things to fit in a 5 by 7 frame. And I think, they would be, this could fit in a 5 by 7 frame with just a lot of room around it. But I'm just thinking, this is not a horrible thing to have on your wall if your name started with P, or if you turn it to the side, does it become something else? I don't know. But I'm planning on making some of these, and I might include one with the purchase of the pen you're buying from me, if you buy a pen, where I'll test out your pen making a P, and I'll say, or whatever letter I want, or maybe your initial. I don't really know. I haven't figured this out yet. But I think there's something about me that thinks this has some value as a little bagatelle, a little nothing, but it's my little nothing. And I think that they would be nice on your desk. You could put it in one of these frames with a little flippy bit on the back and put it on your desk next to your children, your ungrateful children. Or you could put it in your wallet. You can say, did I ever show you my P? What are your thoughts? So, again, I have hundreds of these things I've done in the past. Most of them are abstract. They don't actually make a letter. But when I do make a letter, they can be kind of fun. So we'll do another one. Maybe, some of the bagatelles will be on beige paper, some will be on silver paper, reflective paper, some will be on white. Who knows? So let's do an A. Am I using the same pen? Somehow I make these things using fine pens. When I start making them with a broader pen, they become less ephemeral. I sort of like the gossamer-ness of these things. So I'm using the upside down of the 51, and I'm making I'm going to start over, just because I can. And I'm doing this just, again, for shits and giggles. I don't know what kind of paper this is. It's very white. Sometimes paper... Why is this pen not functioning to my taste? Is this one going to work? So let's pretend I'm going to do a riff on the 51. And of course, the 51 is not spelled like this. It also includes the apostrophes. Is that going to fit in my frame, or is it too wide? it might just fit if I don't go left or right. Doesn't have to fit in this frame. It can fit in the other frame. So let's say I do a riff on the number 51, the numeral 51 in quotes. And I'm using a 51 to do this. I'm not using a 452.5V. I'm using a Parker 51. And I don't know if this is working out to my taste as much as the P did. Part of it is due to the shape of the Arabic numerals. You know, I used to say about calligraphing letters, and then I'd have to do a number on an address, and I'd try to make a 4 look pretty, and I'd think, how is this even possible? The 4 is so weird. 7 is pretty goddamn weird too. And here I'm trying to make it look pretty, and my conclusion was, mathematicians haven't told you this secret yet, but all numbers are irrational, not just the irrational ones, not the ones that you just think are irrational, but all of them. The number 3 by itself is irrational. You don't need the 3.14159 thing going on. Just the 3, all by itself. So I might do something like this with a number. And maybe it would be, someone could say, Peter, my favorite number is 6. Can you do a 6? And I'd say, of course I can do a 6. You know, special orders might end up costing more. I haven't decided that yet. But, you know, when I do work for other people, not just for myself, I feel like I have to go out of my way to make them happy. And making them happy often means I don't take chances, and it becomes kind of boring for me, and I think it can show in the work that I do. So what I might do instead, which means it's twice as much work for me, I'll say, okay, with your commission, I'm going to do your favorite number or your favorite letter twice, and you can choose the one you want. That way you feel like you don't have to get stuck with the one that I gave you, but I'll do 2. And you'll say, gee, Mr. Gustafson, they're both so beautiful, how can I decide? And I said, well, you don't have to decide. You can buy both. Oh. So that's another option. But I think, you know, these are things I do when I'm testing out a pen. Yeah, I know. The quick brown fox and the lazy dog. You want to do that? That's perfectly fine. I'd rather make little doodlements. What are your thoughts? Can I retire on on this design idea? I was able, or I gave as a gift, doodlements to Scott and Mike when they were here at the Boston Pen Show. And Mike immediately put his on the wall of his studio, and it looks pretty darn nice up there. I don't know what Scott did with his. Does this fit in my frame? 51. Let's see. So someone that really collects 51s, loves 51s, maybe they would like this 51. Now, someone that really, really loves 451, 452.5 Vs, I can do one of those for you, but it's going to cost more money because I just have to. Well, let's just try one. Let's just see if it cramps my style. I'm using this paper now, a little different paper. 452.5 V, is that what I said? Isn't it funny? The 2 is also the fraction. Is that a 5 and a 2? The 452 part is all bunched together into one big conglomerate. Where's my frame? Just want to see if this fits in my... It's going a little bit outside. This will have to go on the 5x7 frame. So what I might do here is, there's this big mass of stuff here overlapping. It's a very dense thing. And this might end up looking like this may look very different than, I have no idea what it's going to look like. I haven't finished it yet. See, this is what's sort of fun about these things. I don't have a set design in my head. And I'm adding width, which I shouldn't do. I'm also writing now with the fat side of the nib, which is kind of fun with these, on these doodlements. 4, 5, 2. And 1/2 V. But this could be, on the wall next to your ad from the Waterman Pen Company for a 452.5 V. And you could say, well, that little doodlement over there was done by Pierre Gustafson of the famous Pierre Gustafson test. If you don't know what the famous Pierre Gustafson test is, check out Wasky Squirrel's thing, because he uses it quite often in his pen reviews. The camera for this device I'm filming this on is sort of in between my eyeball and the paper, so sometimes I can't quite see whether my pen is even touching the paper. Why am I adding these dark things here? What was the point of that, Pierre Gustafson? Sometimes these things have the look of a Peter Draws drawing. If you don't know Peter Draws, you look him up. He does really densely packed. He loves ink, uses it by the gallon, and loves drawing things in minute detail. And am I done? Is this one finished? Might be. I don't know. I might even on some of these things decide to add another color. This is getting rather atmospheric, but that's okay. It does sort of look like the debris field of a 747, not the debris field of a 452.5V. A little diamond on the bottom of that one. What does that look like in our frame? Where's our frame? Look, perfect. What are your thoughts? If these were 10 or 15 or 20 bucks a piece, would you buy one? Or you, or you, or you? Say yes. I've got bills to pay.